Marhaba, and hello once again. I'm American historian Dr. Jack Dempsey, and today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. With me, as always, is my dear friend and brother Muhammad Jihad Ismael from Deir al-Balah in Gaza, the central area of the Gaza territory, a little bit near the coast. And his weather is bad today. It's a little bit sunnier here in Crete, so I think it'll be improving for Muhammad and his family tomorrow. Meanwhile, we are in the midst of a war with Iran, and that is the United States and Israel are in the midst of a war against Iran. And we have always been trying to report on the conditions in Gaza directly from the street, as it were, from Muhammad himself. So that you will find done in many of our programs here at this channel, Dionysus 37. And Muhammad and I always welcome your comments and feedback. Today, our subject is going to be to go back a little bit to three programs that we've done in our series on the history of Shaphir, Shapphir. This is a Palestinian town, a major town in the midlands of what is historically been Palestine. Muhammad's family hails anciently from there, and we did three programs talking about its past, its present. It's been erased and replaced with a Jews-only so-called settlement, and what the people of Shaphir and other refugees have endured in their life since they first sheltered in Gaza. So we're going to begin with 1948, the year of the Nakba, the great catastrophe, the great dispossession of almost 1 million Palestinians from their hometowns and villages. And these are all places where, if it was a substantial settlement or town, there was a mosque, a temple, and a church. The people there did not fight about religion. They did not fight about their cultures. They lived more or less in harmony like all human beings do, with flaws, with problems, but mostly with peace and coexistence for hundreds of years. So this is the reality for Muhammad's original family in 1948. And brother, that's enough introduction. I want to hand the story over to you. Where would you most like to begin as your family was living in Shaphir in those years?
Yeah, thank you, brother, for this brilliant introduction. We have to talk about our tragedy, our sad story, our black story as Palestinians and as indigenous people in this land. As you just mentioned, we are indigenous people. Our roots are so extended in the soil of this land. My ancestors used to live in this land generation after generation. They used to make inheritance. Every generation was taking the inheritance from the past generation. So generation after generation, we were living over the land of this pleasant village, Shaphir. Shaphir is the name of our original village. It was mentioned, by the way, in the Old Testament by this way, Shaphir. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Romans in the Romans. In the Roman Empire
Yep.
history, in so many writings, it was mentioned as Zeophir. So according to the Roman civilization historians, it was Zeophir. According to the Syriac language, Aramean language, and Hebrew and the ancient Arabic, it was uttered Shaphir. Yeah. As you just mentioned, it locates in the central Palestine. It was a pleasant and a fertile village. So many farms were locating inside our village, and we used to plant brilliant lentils tomatoes, watermelon, and strawberry, and corn. So many different sorts of plants.
And
Yeah.
that included
Um,
oranges, and of course olive trees for the
yeah.
making of olive oil. And those trees take you back to the late Bronze Age, at least, when some of the sea peoples from the Aegean came into the area that was in great confusion, then Canaan, after the Egyptian conquerors had departed. They had exhausted themselves, and the Peliset and many sea peoples brought the olive tree and the grapevine to the Middle East, and they were the masters of this trade already because they had come from Crete and the Greek islands, which are famous for those things. This, in turn, directly connects with Palestinian history in that the olive tree itself is like the spiritual symbol of the Palestinian people. And I should just mention quickly, I was just arguing online with somebody today who had said that there was no Palestine, that their memory was erased, their gene pool was diluted by wave after wave of Arab immigrants and conquerors and so forth. But it neglects the very fact that the name Palestine came from the mixture of the sea peoples and the indigenous peoples. So into the memory of Shaphir and your family, one of the things we kind of discovered together as we talked in those 3 programs, Muhammad, which I would really recommend, is that Shaphir was an agricultural place. They were very much in love with their land and their farming, but they also loved their books. They also loved the intellectual side of life. They were very culturally sophisticated, and they had a long memory of all the different peoples who had come there, given them part of their culture, and being eclectic, mixing things together, intermarrying, trading, was very much the lifeblood of that culture. So the Palestinians now, and I'll stop here, but the Palestinians of Shaphir and in your blood, brother, go all the way back. They are now the inheritors of all that human history, at least 6,000, maybe 9,000 years of history on that southwestern Levant landscape. People know it very well, and they accept and they honor all the different elements of their inheritance. So this is some of the cultural and agricultural state of being in Shaphir when your family was still living there in 1948, brother. So what else do you want to tell about before we go forward from there?
Yeah, yes, brother. I am so grateful for you. You are shedding the light on so important points. Just I want to add something briefly. Also talking about the ancient history, Palestine, Shaphir was included inside Philistia, inside the Philistia area,
Yes.
because Shaphir was locating in the middle, in the center
Yes.
between three major cities in
Yes.
Philistia,
Yes.
Ashdod and Gath and Ekron.
Yes.
Shaphir was locating in the middle between the 3 towns, between the 3 major towns. Yeah.
Yes. And
So
when
Shaphir was,
you mention
yeah,
Ekron, brother, people should look up the digs, Ekron, because in Ekron was the longest persistent Philistine, that is to say, Palestinian persistence when the Israelites arrived to take over the territory. We're not sure how that happened yet, but Ekron was a repository of Philistine Palestinian culture well after the Israelite kingdom had fallen apart.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, I want to add something else. Also, we have before Nakba, before the year of Nakba, we have some British archaeologists who used to discover ancient olive press in
Yes.
Shaphir,
Yes.
This ancient olive press dates back to the early Bronze Age.
Yes.
So yeah, we have this very extended heritage with olives, with olives oil. Yeah,
Yes, and the when the Assyrians of many conquerors, see, the Palestinians learned the language of their conquerors who were always coming through that crossroads area. They learned Egyptian, they learned Sea People's languages, they learned the language of every conqueror after them. And we know from the records of Assyria, when they conquered that area, they cleared out many of the Hebrew people and many of the others who had resisted them. But you know what? They left the Philistines in place. The ruthless Assyrians left the Philistines in place so that they could continue to grow the olive trees and produce the best olive oil. They were the people who understood that agriculture, and they were preserved doing it right through some of the worst outside conquests. So that tree is right in the center of the Palestinian soul.
yes, brother. We have to say clearly that southern Levant, Palestine, Shaphir, all these areas were like a garden containing so many different kinds of flowers and roses.
Interesting word.
We used, yeah, it was like a metropolitan village. Shafir was very small and very poor village, but it was metropolitan, containing so many races and tribes and people believing in so many religions. As we mentioned many times, we used to have Muslims, Christians, and Jews
Yep,
living all together inside
that's
the
right.
village, and they used to live with each other in a full harmony and in love.
That's right. And if you want to see evidence of that directly from the people who lived that story, please look at a film here at YouTube called The Land Speaks Arabic. The Land Speaks Arabic. This is an interview, extended interviews with many village elders from that generation who remember living as family together with their neighbors. Very powerful film. So, brother,
Yes, brother.
one day in 1948, when was it? What season was it in Shaphir when the Israeli forces came to the door, interrupted the family's lunch, and said, "You have 20 minutes to leave forever"? Tell us about that day, brother.
Yes, brother. It was like these days. It was April. It was almost 9th or 10th April, something like that. I am not sure. Maybe 9th or 10th April.
Yep.
The Israeli forces or the Israeli gangs, the Zionist gangs, Haganah and Bilmah and Shterin and Aragon and the other gangs, they used to attend to the village, and they used to make a huge artillery shelling targeting the houses of the village. People were asked by the Israeli army or the Zionist gangs to leave. You have to leave now, immediately. You can only carry your children. You have to go now. Now. Yeah. So they were expelled. They were expelled, threatened by the artillery and by shelling, and also the French-made Mystère jets were hovering over the village and throwing bombs over the heads of people.
Yes. Yes. And your grandmother, who was walking on the road toward Gaza, brother, remembered looking up and seeing the pilots in the planes that were strafing them. It appears that Muhammad's image here has frozen. That may indicate that we've lost his signal. We hope not. We always try to do our best with these programs despite the conditions of the internet from Gaza. and to do our best to give you direct knowledge of Palestinian life, history, how they see the world, why they see the world the way they do, the things they remember about it and its changes. And I'm trying to hopefully get Muhammad back online here. He's always aware. There we go. It appears that we've lost him. So I guess we'll stop this intriguing story from Muhammad here today. Really thank you for your time and your listening and your clicking a like if you so feel inclined. We will continue right here with the story next time as soon as we possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And peace, justice, and equality for everybody. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. That is the single state that used to be home for everybody. And that's what Muhammad looks forward to someday. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.